Good morning, students. Today we are going to discuss about artificial hybridization and double fertilization from chapter 2, sexual reproduction in flowering plants. Now let us first discuss about artificial hybridization. Artificial hybridization is the process in which only desired pollen grains are used for pollination and fertilization. And this is done under the influence of man, therefore it is called artificial hybridization. In this process, the stigma is protected from contamination, that is from unwanted pollen grains. Artificial hybridization is achieved by using the following techniques. The first one is emasculation. What is emasculation? Emasculation is referring to the removal of anther from bisexual flowers of female parent plant. This is done before the anther is mature. Yes, in emasculation, the anther is removed from bisexual flowers from female parent plant, and this has to be done before the anther is matured. You can see the picture. This is the picture. This is chosen as a female parent plant, and this is a bisexual flower. It contains both pistil and stamen. Okay, therefore, in order to avoid unwanted pollination, we need to remove the anther before it is mature, and that can be done by simply cutting off the anther by scissors. Now let us go to the next technique, that is bagging. The emasculated flower is enclosed. Okay, the flower where anther has removed, that flower has to be enclosed in a bag. Why it has to be enclosed in a bag? Because if the flower is left open, okay, it can come in contact with any unwanted pollen grain. Therefore, to avoid unwanted pollination, the flower has to be closed in a bag. This process is called bagging. When the stigma of bag flower attains receptivity, okay, that means when the stigma is matured to receive the pollen, then the desired matured pollen grains are collected from anther of male parents and dusted on the stigma, and the flowers are rebagged again and fruits are allowed to develop. In case of unisexual flower, emasculation process is not required. Now let us go to next topic, that is double fertilization. Double fertilization is one of a major characteristic of flowering plant, that is angiosperm, that involves the joining of female gametophyte with the two male gametes. Now one of the male gamete will fertilize the egg cell and form zygote, okay, diploid, and the other male gamete will fuse with the polar nuclei and form endosperm. Now let us see the process of double fertilization. Okay, this is the picture of pistil having stigma, style, and ovary. Okay, now once the pollen grain fall on the surface of the stigma, it will undergo pollen germination. During pollen germination, the pollen grain form along a pollen tube. This pollen tube contain two sperm cells or two male gametes. Now the pollen tube will run through the style and finally come to female gametophyte or embryo sac. Again, embryo sac, the tube of the pollen tube will come in contact with one of the synergid cell. Okay, once the pollen tube come in contact with the synergid cell, it will release, it contains, okay, that is two sperm cells or two male gamete on the cytoplasm of synergy. Then from there, one male gamete will go and fuse with the egg cell. Okay, egg cell and undergo fertilization. What type of fertilization? Generative fertilization. Okay, the name of the fertilization that takes place between one sperm cell and the egg cell is called generative fertilization. And what will be the result? The result will be the formation of single cell called zygote. Zygote is diploid, 2N. Okay. Now what will happen to the another one? Another sperm cell. The another sperm cell will move to the central part of the embryo sac where polar nuclei are situated. Okay. Now the male gamete will fuse with the polar nuclei, and that fusion is also known as triple fusion because in this fusion 3 cells are involved. That is why it is called triple fusions. Okay. Triple fusions will result in a fertilization known as vegetative fertilization. Okay, this vegetative fertilization will result in the formation of primary endosperm nucleus, triploid. Okay, 3 ends. Since in this fertilization there are 2 fertilization take place in single embryo sac, that is generative fertilization and vegetative fertilization. Okay, that is why this fertilization is known as double fertilization, and this is one of the unique characteristic of angiosperm plant. Now what will happen to zygote and endosperm? The zygote that form from generative fertilization will undergo successive division to form embryo, and during these formations of zygote to embryo, they will derive nutrition from endosperm. Okay, and slowly the ovule will turn into seed. And remember, ovule has 2 covering. Okay, that is integuments. That integuments will turn into seed cord, and the ovary will develop into fruits. So that's all for today. Thanks for watching.